Hey, this is Dan. It's another day working on the van. If you watched the last video that we did about the install of the Van Compass engine skid plate, one of the things we talked about was the possibility that we were going to order the transmission skid plate. And so if you remember, that skid plate has a batch plate that connects to the bumper, and then it has a belly pan that goes right underneath the front axle and differential area on the all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive versions. But it does leave a gap between the transfer case and transmission. So there's the end of the pan. There's the plastic transmission pan that I don't like. And then the transfer case. So if you remember, I had said that so the original Van Compass skid plate set comes with a set of spacers in case you want to add the transfer case and transmission skid plate, and I had indicated that I was going to buy one. Well, I did. I think having that part of your drivetrain exposed, especially on a van, and with all the things that are around, it's just smart to have that extra protection. So we purchased it too, and it came today. So that's what it looks like. If you're interested in seeing how we put that together, stick around for the video. It should not take long at all. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this transfer case and transmission skid plate up. It's pretty easy. It uses the 3 bolts that are already attached to the cross member from our original installation. We're just gonna take the spacers out, and then we're just gonna take the bottom 2 transfer case cross member out, and it just goes right up in that space. So it shouldn't take very long. It should be fairly simple. It's really just taking 3 bolts apart from the original setup and then adding the 2 for the transfer case. All right, so if you remember, the engine skid plate went up in the back with 3 1/2-inch bolts. So that's going to take a 1/2-inch socket to get them undone. We'll remove the spacers. And then the transfer case skid plate goes in between the engine skid plate and the cross member. That way, if something drags along the bottom, it doesn't get caught on the lip. So it just kind of skips down and skips over. And then the 2 bolts that go into the transfer case cross member are 16mm, and we got an impact for that. So let's get those 3 bolts loose, and so we can slide this thing in. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take those transfer case cross member bolts loose, and again, those were 16mm. All right, next we're going to take those 1/2-inch carriage bolts loose. Now that we got that done, we're gonna get the transfer case, we're gonna slide it up in between here, and then we're gonna add the bolts into the transfer case mount first to hold it up in place. All right, we just got to leave everything loose, and that way there's some adjustment back and forth to be able to try and get the other bolts in. So we'll put those 1/2-inch carriage bolts back in and start to get everything tightened down. All right, all that's left is to tighten up the cross member bolts. All right, and that's done. So now we have this nice transition. It's gonna catch and go up and come across. So start to finish, that was like 12 minutes. So it's something super easy to do. It fits right in with the other system just as nicely as I thought it was going to. I'm super happy. I feel better now that that area is protected. And yeah, I highly recommend the skid plates from Van Compass. They're a great company. They make great parts and it fits great on the Sprinter van. And if you want to protect the underside of yours, I would put them on too. So this is Dan from Rambling Ambition. Thanks for checking out the video. If you want to see how we installed the engine skid plate, just check out the video. It'll be in the link in the description, but also on the screen toward the end. Give yourself a thumbs up if you watched us thus far, and thank you if you come back to watch some of our other videos. I really appreciate it. Got some cool stuff coming, so stay tuned.